Alright. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. No intro music today. This morning, Sammy's asleep, so I'm gonna keep it a little quiet. Just got off work, picked up an extra shift on my day off, trying to make some extra money. Give me just a second. Just trying to get back to where, get ahead from where I was unemployed for 3 months. Well, about 2, I don't know, I think it was 3 months this time. I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. If you donate to the channel, I will snail mail you a sticker. I got bookmarks coming in. I can't wait to show y'all, dude. They look sick. I'm gonna try to do trading cards next. And start doing trading cards, because I'm a card collector. If you guys have been keeping up with the channel, you guys know that I love pretty cardboard, you know. That was one of my side jobs. Like, I have enough cards I could actually genuinely open, like, a booth in a flea market. I still need to, honestly, I need to look into that, see if it would even be worth doing. But yeah, it helps pay for pens and papers if you donate. And honestly, it just helps me pay my fucking bills. And you guys know I'm not a grifter. I have a full-time job. And I work overtime, so. Not last episode, because the last episode was on Afro Man. But yesterday I put out 2 episodes. I did a movie review on this movie that I seen 3 days ago now. It was Tuesday. It's now Thursday. It's now Friday. Yeah, 3 days ago. Me and Sammy went and we seen, they do $6 movie tickets at Movie Tavern. And actually my buddy got us in for free. He's an actor, a horror actor. I interviewed him for the channel. Go check that interview out. It's interview with Jason Donahue, horror actor. I'll put it in the link below if you're listening on Spotify. If you're listening on YouTube, you can find it in the interview section. But anyways, he got us in for free because that's his day job. So that was pretty cool. So I did a movie review 2 episodes ago, and I'll link that below in Spotify too as related episodes. That movie was occult as fuck. Like, they get into Elisa Lam, Dark Origins of Nursery Rhymes, reverse speech conspiracy, Cecil Hotel. They touch on a lot of crazy shit. So this is going to be kind of a continuation. Like, honestly, I've noticed one thing when podcasting, especially conspiracy stuff. I've said this for years, that conspiracy is a spider web. First of all, everything is a conspiracy. I've come to that conclusion. I used to be the person who said not everything's a conspiracy. Now that I've done this for over a decade, I'm like, yeah, everything's a conspiracy. It just is. Conspiracy is a spider web, though. Once you focus in on one subject, it opens up like a billion more. Like, one rabbit hole ends up being a billion fucking rabbit holes. And actually, as weird as it sounds, if you actually look at the map of a rabbit hole, there's also a snake hole, there's a turtle hole, there's a hedgehog or a groundhog hole. They actually all live in a neighborhood. So, like, going down the rabbit hole, you end up going and taking side paths. But this movie had a shit ton of little Easter eggs as far as, like, if you're into the paranormal or conspiracy, if you're into, like, this type of genre of podcast, there's all sorts of little Easter eggs in the movie that I did a review on. It's hang on, I just did the review on it. It's we just watched it. Fucking hang on, I'm brain farting. Undertone. Jesus. Yes, it was Undertone. I'm not crazy. Don't do drugs. Yeah, Undertone. But anyways, so there's an entity, a demonic entity, who, spoiler alert, the main character, the female protagonist, she ends up accidentally summoning this entity. And its name is Abyzou. And immediately, whenever they started explaining what this entity does, it reminded me of Sumerian. I believe her name was Inanna, which is also... Okay. The gods and goddesses of old, the old gods, they have aliases and they have multiple different names for the same god. And I'm sorry, but Christianity does too. Jesus is Horus. Jesus is also Dionysus. Jesus is also Mithras. Some people have even said that there's a lot of similarities between Jesus and Buddha, you know. I'm sorry to burst y'all's bubble, but his story has been told hundreds of times before he even existed as an actual person. I believe these entities travel all over and tell the same story, and the same story is told all over, you know. Like Thoth is Hermes. Samson from the Bible is Hercules. Zeus from the Bible is Jehovah. Prometheus is Lucifer. It's the same stories everywhere. So once you get this through your head, everything makes more sense. Every nation, every religion, they're all telling the exact same stories. And I hate to be like hippy dippy, but when people say like, you know, we're all worshiping the same God, we are all worshiping the same God, or gods, you know. So Abyzou is what it's Abyzou. As soon as they started describing the characteristics of this archetype, this goddess, this demon or daemon, immediately I was like, oh, it's Lilith. It's Inanna, Ishtar. Ishtar, Easter. Speak of the devil, it's coming up. The first wife of Adam. But I'd never heard it called Abyzou. And one more thing, I noticed, honestly, there's a lot of, if you watch the film Undertone, there's a lot of iconography of Mary. But there's also, like, this statue appears of the Black Mary, which gets into, like, La Muerte, the Black Mary of La Muerte, which is what, like, MS-19 or whatever. They worship her. It's like an inversion of Mary, Mother Mary. And there's, like, this little statue that appears in the movie, and it's literally Mary, like, ripping open her breast, and these babies are crawling all over her, and her mouth is like a gape, like, ah. And the babies are crawling into the hole in her chest. It's fucking dark as fuck. And it appears on her mother's nightstand, and she's, like, the main protagonist is taking care of her mom. She's sick. She's just, like, not eating. She sleeps all day. She's shitting herself. Spoiler alert, sorry. But, this statue appears, and she's like, what the fuck? And she locks it into the closet, which I've said for years, I had a demonic experience. The only way I can describe it is demonic. I don't know what it was. It was an interdimensional being. It could have been a jinn. It could have been a demon, a daemon. I don't know what it was, but it was something not cool that I had an experience with in my closet. I swear, and I've said it over and over again, I swear to God, dude, closets are fucking portals, man. Art Bell had a similar experience, almost exactly like mine, and his was a closet. Closets freak me out to this day. I do not like closet doors open. I'm freaked out by closets. So, we're going to do a deep dive on Abyzou. So, in the myth and folklore of the Near East and Europe, Abyzou is the name of a female demon. See, I thought it was Middle Eastern, but I guess I was wrong. In the movie, it makes it out to be Middle Eastern. Oh, by the way, I thought too, another thing, I thought they were just making this demon up. Because they show her like researching Abyzou on the movie, and she like goes to Wikipedia, finds it, and I was like, oh, they probably just like made it up for the movie. No, this is an actual entity. Like, I don't know. And apparently, this movie, whoever made this movie, I said it in the previous review. This is kind of a continuation of it. Whoever made this movie, the scriptwriter or director, they knew they had to have been a conspiracy theorist or at least interested in the paranormal, because they were bringing up like Elisa Lam's case, Abyzou, which is an actual entity, the dark origins of nursery rhymes, reverse speech. So like it had to be like an actual conspiracy theorist who made this movie. In myth and folklore of the Near East and Europe, Abyzou is the name of a female demon. Abyzou was blamed for miscarriages and infant mortality, and was to be motivated by envy, as she herself was infertile. So, right there, miscarriages and infant mortality, and she's motivated by envy. This is where it matches up with Lilith. If you know anything about the paranormal, one of the entities that people talk about a lot, you have like poltergeist, you have like regular ghosts, you have orbs. A very famous entity or type of spirit, demon, within the paranormal community is succubus. Now you'll have those people who debunk it, quote unquote, with sleep paralysis. I suffer from sleep paralysis, to where like my brain wakes up but my body can't move, and it's usually during nightmares. It fucking sucks. If you've ever suffered from sleep paralysis, it is horrible. It fucking sucks, because you can't move, and if you open your eyes, you're still dreaming. You're half awake, but you're not fully awake. So you're literally you're just tripping, but you're paralyzed. It sucks. Sleep paralysis sucks. And I do like to look at the scientific parts of it. Maybe we'll do a whole episode on deep dive of like just the science aspect of sleep paralysis, and not so much the woo-woo. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested. I'll write it down in my notebook real quick, but we should do like just a deep dive on sleep paralysis. But I'm a spiritual person, and I think there definitely is some form of spiritual aspect to it. But anyways, Lilith is succubus. Lilith became succubus after she got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. So the story goes is that, and I've told this story before. Go check out the podcast episode, Reading the Bible, I think it's called Reading the Bible. It was the one that I put together and put out here recently. It was like older videos of me reading the Bible, and I just clipped them all together and put it out as a podcast. But we get into Lilith, of how there's fragments of her that are left in the King James Bible. But if you get into like Hebrew mythology, the story goes that she was the first wife of Adam. And I know this sounds funny and silly, but it's the truth. She's basically the first feminist. She wanted to be on top during sex with Adam, and Adam was like, no, I'm not gay. And he didn't like that there was a dominant sexual woman, which, by the way, this is so fucking weird to me. Like, Adam was such a fucking loser in the Bible.1st of all, he sold out his second wife. Like, he told on her. She gave me the apple. And you had a chick who was a freak in the sheets, who wanted to ride you, and you're like, no, I want to be on top. I ain't gonna lie, dude. Especially, like, even when I was younger, I used to love when, my ex-wife would be riding me and shit. But even now that I'm older, I especially love to be ridden, because it's like, my ass is getting old, man. My legs get tired. I get out of breath and shit. I smoke, you know. I'm out of shape. Like, I don't know. I just don't get it. Adam is such a loser in the Bible, man. He's such a fucking loser. But anyways, Abyzou is Lilith. Lilith is Succubus. So that's henceforth why, from when she got kicked out of the garden, Lilith, that's why she lays on top of man and gives them sleep paralysis. She's literally laying on top of you, trying to steal your semen. Wet dreams. So, Abyzou was blamed for miscarriages. Okay, we did that. And she herself was infertile. This part right here, obviously, because this is a Near East and European myth and folklore, they have the belief that she's infertile. There is a belief that Lilith ended up becoming like Satan's wife. But there's also a belief that like Lilith ended up, actually, that Cain was the offspring of Lilith, and then Abel was the offspring of Eve. So that's just Christian Hebrew folklore. Don't blow up my comment section going like, that's not in the Bible, blah. If it pisses you off, then don't listen to the channel. I really don't care, dude. I'm tired of Jesus freaks in my comment section. That's just what the Hebrew mythology is. That's what it's in the Apocrypha. It's apocryphal. It's non-canon. You know, God knows everybody's got to get their stuff blessed by some pedophile in a robe for them to believe in it. I love that shit. Christians go, well, that's not canon. That's not in the Bible. That's non-canon. That's apocryphal. Oh, so now you're taking orders from the Vatican from a pedophile who wears a dress? You're taking orders from the Vatican on what to read and what you believe? Wow, I thought you were Protestant, homie. I am Protestant. But it's non-canonical. So you're still taking orders from the Vatican on what they choose goes in the Bible and what doesn't. You're a Vatican bitch. You're a Vatican dog. You know, you take orders from the Vatican. You're not Protestant, you know. Protestant to protest the Vatican. Are you getting it? I'm not even Christian, but if I was, I'd be Protestant, homie. So, in Coptic Egypt, she is identified with Alabasandria. I ain't gonna lie, that's a beautiful name. Alabasandria. Alabasandria at the monastery of St. Apollo, Egypt. A wall painting depicts the childbirth demon under the name Alabasandria, and she is trampled under the hooves of a horse. The rider wears a belted tunic, trousers, in the Parthian manner. I have no clue who the Parthians are. And the inscription, now faded, was at the time of its discovery in Sinios. The central image is surrounded by other figures. So another name for her is Alabasandria. I don't know why I like the name of that. That's named Alabasandria. It's kind of sexy. Uh-oh, I'm falling under Lilith's spell. And in Byzantine culture, her name is Gailu. So I'm not really seeing too much on Gailu. Let's see. In various texts surviving the syncretic magical practice of antiquity and the early Middle Ages, she is said to have many and virtually innumerable names. This is what I was telling you guys earlier. So Lilith, Succubus, which is hermaphroditic, which they believe angels and fallen angels are all intersex, hermaphrodite. They can change their sex, which would make sense. They're interdimensional beings. They are above sex. Abyzou, also spelt Abyzou, Obazu, Obazuth, Abazuth, and Abyzou. Watch me keep naming all these different things, and a portal just opens up in the corner of the room. You just see lightning bolts. Is pictured on amulets with fish or serpent-like attributes. So, now we are getting into the anthropomorphic chimera side of it. She has fish attributes. So now you can tie her in with a mermaid, a siren, which I did a whole episode on mermaids and sirens. Go check it out, and the occult symbolism of it. It's in the Leave the World Behind playlist. Go check it out if you're listening on YouTube. Serpent-like attributes. Now, there is an entity which is half female, half snake. It's called a Lamia, and it ties in with Indian. I'm writing notes because, like I said, man, this all connects. Lamia, and they're also called the Nagas, which is like ties in with, honestly, reptilian shit. If you're into the whole David Icke reptilian shit, this is right up your alley. So they say that Abyzou can also be, I think too that these things are shapeshifters. These fallen angels, daemons, goddesses, gods. Hell, even Jesus shapeshifted. I think when he goes on the mount before he ascends to heaven, he shapeshifts in front of all the apostles. It's a whole trippy part of the Bible. Go read it. But yeah, she's pictured on amulets, and she shows up as a mermaid and or Lamia, Naga. Her fullest literary depiction is from the Compendium of Demonology, known as the Testament of Solomon. Now, if you guys know me, I'm a big fan of like Solomonic lore. I'm very interested in Freemasonry, Rastafari, like the Kebra Nagast, all that shit. I mean, I'm wearing a tetragrammaton right now. You can barely see it, but this is King Solomon's ring, where he controlled the 72 demons. So yeah, the Testament of Solomon. We'll have to do a whole deep dive on it, because it's fucking tight, dude. It gets into Solomonic magic. Like I said, Freemasonry, Kebra Nagast, the building of the temple, the controlling of 72 demons. Gets into some deep shit, man. Whether you believe it or not, and whether you like it or not, doesn't matter what you believe in, and it doesn't matter what you like. It's the elites believe this shit. So we should probably be paying attention and learning what they believe, you know? I had this conversation with my grandma. She's like, how do you read all these occult books, and aren't you scared? And I'm like, no. I was like, if the devil's out here, let's just say the devil, because my grandma's a Christian, and I'd speak to her the best way she can understand. I'm like, if the devil runs the world and the devil's trying to take over the world, you know, shouldn't, and he gave us books of what he believes, shouldn't we be reading those books to try to figure the devil out? I mean, and I explained it like this. I said the Americans were reading Nazi literature during World War II because they wanted to beat the Nazis. So first thing we did when we raided, like, all their shit was we took all their fucking books. The fuck do these motherfuckers believe, you know? I want to know. So, origins. A.A. Barb connected Abyzou and similar female demons to the story of the primeval sea, Abyzou. So this gets into Mesopotamia. In ancient Mesopotamian religion, Barb argued that although the name Abyzou appears to be a corrupted form of the Greek Abyssos, or aka the abyss, the primeval sea was originally an androgyny or asexual, later dividing into the male Abyzou. So Abyzou became Abyzou, freshwater, and the female Tiamat, which is seawater, so saltwater, appearing as the Tehom in the book of Genesis. So Abyzou is in Genesis. Tehom, Hebrew, is the northwest Semitic and biblical Hebrew meaning of the word the deep or the abyss. So when the Holy Ghost was traveling over the deep, the waters, the abyss. It is in Genesis. Holy fucking shit. Sorry, I've read the Bible like 6 times. So it's used to describe the primeval ocean and the post-creation waters of the earth, where the Holy Ghost was traveling and floating around above. I'll be damned. It is a cognate of the Akkadian, the Tiamtum, and Tamtum, as well as the Ugaritic, which have similar meanings. According to a theological dictionary, Tehum derives from a Semitic root which denoted the sea as a non-personified entity with mythological import. This is insane. Here it is. Abyzou's in the Bible. I mean, they left Lilith in the Bible. It makes fucking complete sense. This is why I say, dude, like, people are like, oh, there's no paganism in the Bible. And it's like, dude, it's left over in there. You guys just have to be smart enough and know what you're reading to understand. It's in there. Did you know there's a whole scene where Yahweh, divorces his wife? Most people don't even know Yahweh, Jehovah, had a wife. We'll have to do a whole deep dive on that. It's fucking nuts. Tehum is mentioned in Genesis 1:2, where it is translated as, quote-unquote, the deep. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God, the Holy Ghost, moved upon the face of the waters. King James Version. That blows my fucking mind. The same word is used for the origin of Noah's flood in Genesis 7:11. 7:11, make a wish. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, and the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were open. Huh. I'm sorry, dude. That just blows my fucking mind. I love when paganism sneaks its way into the Bible. For one, it pisses Christians off, but it kind of makes me happy because it proves my point that we're all believing in the same shit. It tells the same stories. Sorry if you don't like it. It's in there, dude. Christianity came from paganism. You're just going to have to get over it, you know. The female demons, among whom Lilith is best known, are often said to have come from the primeval sea. Told you she's Lilith. Man, I'm getting good at this demonology shit, man. I ain't gonna lie. In ancient Greek religion, female sea... I'm gonna stop stroking my ego. I'm sorry. I just get excited when I'm right, dude. I'm sorry, dude. And this is a good year to be a conspiracy theorist because, like, everything we've been saying for all these years just keeps getting proven true. It's fucking awesome, man. Just one day I'm gonna get my roses. One day I'm gonna get my roses. And you will, too. Oh, it's awesome. Told you she was Lily. Are often said to have come from the primeval sea in the ancient Greek religion. Female sea monsters that combined allure and deadliness may also derive from this tradition, including Gorgons, who were the daughters of the old sea god Phorcys. So he's a primeval sea god, generally cited as the son of Pontus and Gaia, which is Earth, Mother Earth. I'm a Gaia worshipper. Classical scholar conflated Phorcys with the similar sea gods Nereus and Proteus. His wife was Ceto, and he is the most notable in the myth of Ceto and the hosts. I've never heard of Phorcys. I wonder what makes him different than like Neptune, aka Poseidon, you know. Hang on just a second. Alright, well, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to finish this off real quick, though. So, she is associated with sirens. Once again, I just told you guys, associated with sirens and aka mermaids. She's associated with harpies, water nymphs, and nereids. In the Septuagint, the Greek version of the Hebrew Bible, the word abyssos is treated as a noun of feminine grammatical gender. Even though Greek nouns ending with an os are typically masculine, abyssos is equivalent to the meaning to Abyzou as the dark, chaotic sea before creation. The word also appears in the Christian New Testament, occurring 6 times in the book of Revelation, where it is, that's my favorite book of the Bible, by the way, where it is conventionally translated not as the deep, but as the bottomless pit of hell. So the bottomless pit of hell is also Abyzou, Abyssos, Lilith, yeah, the great deep. Barb argues that the essence of the Sumerian Abyzou is the grandmother of the Christian devil. So Abyzou is the grandmother of the Christian Satan, Lucifer, the devil. Interesting. But there's a deep dive of Abyzou, the real entity. Like I said, dude, this last movie I seen opened up a whole can of worms and a whole bunch of different episode ideas, because that movie was pretty deep as far as like different shit I wanted to talk about in general. So that's the entity from that movie, The Undertone. Check out the actual review I did yesterday. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm probably gonna start kind of like a little mini series, because just that one movie delved into several different conspiracy. Like I said, it's all a spider web. Some other shit that I want to talk about. So there you go. Y'all have a good day. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, hit that hype button. Pushes me up the algorithm. Everyone gets 3 hypes per week. Use one on me, dude, if you love my channel. See you guys.